and then you're gonna do it. Each one of you. You follow me?
Yep.
You're on camera.
Oh, good. I'm on camera. So first thing you do is menu right here. Change access level. It's gonna ask you a question. Enter for yes.
So I'm sorry. So first it was panel, then change access level.
Menu.
Menu.
Right here. If you got any questions.
Yeah.
Change menu. Enter. Change access. Enter.
Okay.
F1 to log in, just like it's prompting you. The F1 up here, and then passcode 333. It says enter after each one. You don't have to do enter after each one. 333. Enter. Access granted. Bypass. You want to go auto dial, elevators, mag doors, horns, all that stuff. So you go down through and you press the button right here. And I'm going to do so quickly because it's going to set off a trouble at the front desk, and
Yeah, they called me right back the one time I was with Mark.
they should be calling one of you, whoever has a phone right now.
Pause for a minute.
Yeah. So the fire alarm panel is offline right now, and so if we were to get a fire alarm, nothing would go off except for this panel. The fire department would not be called, and you know, so we've turned off horns and lights, we've turned off fan shutdowns. This is an HVAC system. It's all tied in, and they turn off. We've turned off the door closers, so when the fire alarm goes off, all the doors in the guest corridor is closed. Yeah, elevator recall, so that it's not being recalled at this point either. Makes sense? And then we're not. That's what all this is. Okay. And so what I want to show you now is what you need to know to access this very thing. What's going on here? If you were to have a fire alarm here, this red light would be blinking or lit up. Blinking would mean that the fire alarm hasn't been acknowledged yet. So and you'd also hear it going beep, 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 you know, like that. Okay. The trouble does a solid beep, you know, a buzzer on it. A fire alarm goes like that on there. And so that's, audibly you can hear the difference. If I'm walking near the panel and I all of a sudden hear that, I would know that something's going wrong. So what I want to tell you is don't be afraid to touch these 4 buttons.
Okay.
Whatsoever. Yeah, you can press them anytime. They're all informational. Okay? So right now we have 5 troubles on the system because I took everything offline that's listed as a trouble. And so you can go through and hit this and it'll list each of the troubles each time you hit it. Just hit it and it'll all of a sudden say, well, it'll either say end of list or it'll come back to this, but you can cycle through all of the troubles. Just like that. You see what I did? Okay. And you just keep pressing and it'll go through the whole list until you get all the way to the end.
Yep.
And it says end of list right there. So, and the same with this, say it was a supervisory. You will get a supervisory, so say we were to take this valve. Is that valve hooked up? On the gas floors, the valves are hooked up into the fire alarm system. And so say somebody closed it, it would come off as a supervisory. So
Supervisory is a valve then?
yeah, and if you want to think about it, it's from here over. So trouble is, hey, we think there might be something wrong with the system, but you know, not 100% sure and not sure if somebody's life is in jeopardy or not. Supervisory is, you know, yeah, there's something critical wrong with the system, but we're not in a fire alarm right now.
Okay.
So if the fire pump were to go off on its own, that would come across as a supervisory. Or if I went over here to the fire pump and I switched it from auto to off, it would come up as a supervisory over there on the system. Because the system would say, hey, fire pump isn't here. It's, you know, pretty big deal not having your fire pump.
Right.
But it's not a fire alarm. And then these are fire alarm buttons. You will only see this one here.
Okay.
Any questions?
No.
So,
What about those two other red buttons on the right?
Excellent question. You don't need to be as concerned. You need to be careful pushing those buttons, but not as concerned. So this is alarm silence. Alarm silence is used in a situation where you know you have a false alarm, you've verified it's a false alarm, and you want to turn off the horns from going off, everything, you know, going in the building. We are allowed to do that. If we can legitimately say we verified it's a false alarm, we can legitimately do that. If you accidentally do that and you have a legitimate fire condition, the fastest way to get it back online is hit system reset.
Okay.
Now,
Because it'll actually sensing what's going
it'll
on.
resense and it'll set the alarm off again.
Okay.
Now, you have to be careful doing that. You want to be careful hitting system reset. You can hit it right now. It's not a big deal. There you go, system reset. If you have a fire alarm and you do a system reset, before the fire department says you're all set, all clear to clear your system, you will get a severe tongue lashing, and I will get a call the next morning.
Saying, why did you press the system reset button before we checked it out?
That is correct.
You
Yes.
can.
Huh?
We can. Under normal circumstances, you can't just reset unless you're clear to do so.
That is correct. So that's where you're careful. Now, the system will not reset if there's an active alarm. So what you can do, if this were coming up as an alarm over here, you'd cycle through. If this was lit up, you'd cycle through and you'd see it. It would say 4th floor, blah, blah, blah. And down here, it would say normal or alarm. If it says alarm, you're not resetting the system. You can hit reset, it'll come back alarm, and it'll say, instead of saying no alarms present, it'll say alarm present on system, and you'll hear this start to beep again like it's a brand new alarm, and it'll go off, and you can't, you won't reset it. Make sense?
Yeah.
So, do you know how to turn the fire pump off? In?
Huh.
Do you know how to turn the fire pump off?
I never turned it off. There should be a knob there.
There is. Inside here, you simply switch this from auto over to off.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there should be a manual.
There is manual
Yeah.
for starting it up.
When we oh shoot, it's still dark in here. When we test monthly, are we testing this monthly?
We have not, because we got a problem with the pump.
But we should test them monthly, no?
Yeah, that's correct. Yep.
When we do that, that's the part that I wanted to do, is just know how to test it.
Yeah, it's not hard.
Isn't that? I know other properties, we used to have like a little control box where you have like a test, control function. But this one doesn't.
Right there. Test. Hit start.
Where's that at? I can't. Oh, there's a test. Okay.
Hit start.
And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it does the alarm goes off?
It'll go into supervisory, because it's not sitting in auto mode waiting for the fire, waiting for a fire alarm.
So this fire panel is defaulting for the fire pump
Yeah.
to be set at auto.
Yeah, and if it's
So
not set at
A-
auto, it's going to put up a message saying, hey, there's a problem.
Well, there's something going on.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yep.
All right.
Sweet. All right.
So that's the end of training?
Nope.
I was saying, he told us we gotta go through it once.
That's correct.
I guess there is no chance for us to get that 2.5
So,
ladder.
ready? Now, if this is an alarm, you do not take the auto dialer off.
Right.
At all. Because if this is an alarm, as soon as you undo these, you'll hear everything go off in the building, and the fire department will be coming. So even if you were running through a test, so say we were doing something and we took it offline because we knew that we might set off a smoke detector, you have to make sure that you do a system reset before this. You have to make sure no red lights. I've had plenty of guys make that mistake of, they're like, oh, I'll just put it online. Doop, 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 doop. Why is the fire alarm going off?
Because the auto dialer, that's from
Because
here
you
to the
didn't
fire
reset.
department, correct?
That is correct.
Because you didn't reset the system.
That's correct, yes. So even if it says, even if you push this and it says normal, if that light's lit up, it still says it says a fire alarm. You have to take it through a system reset. You have to clear it.
Yeah.
Because it's going to send the message out to, that there is a fire alarm.
Department.
Yeah. So, makes sense?
Yes.
So we're going to put this, so you can do a system reset, as I said, at any time. But you don't want to do that if you have a fire alarm condition and the fire department hasn't cleared you yet. They will yell at you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Been yelled at multiple times. Not because I've ever done it. Usually because somebody else got in a hurry and they pushed system reset and I was the one dealing with the fire department. So, yeah. So, anyway, makes sense?
Yep.
And so that, now I'm going to put this whole thing back online just like that. It doesn't do any sort of thing whatsoever to the front desk. You don't hear any buzzing. This wasn't beeping. It's all good. And you can press whatever here again and we're all good. After a little bit, this will come back and it'll show just the date and time and say system normal. Make sense? We can hit clear over here and get into that.
Do we need to know anything more about these panels on this side right here?
Nope, you do not. I can give you opportunity to learn, but no. For everyday operation, you don't need to know. It's more complicated. I frankly, I'm not in the position where I could train you. I can figure out a lot of how this operates. I do usually. I can get into it and figure out how to take a single head offline, but it usually takes me a good 15-20 minutes to figure it out altogether. Because it's not something I handle every day, so I just, so there are ways you can go in here and you can actually, I can take whatever head's in here and I can flip it to offline status and it won't work anymore rather than taking the whole system down. Make sense?
Okay.
Dan, your turn. Go for it.
So, you're saying you wanted to, these all you can press at any time just to know.
Yeah, that's correct.
So, but there's nothing normal, everything's normal right now.
Yeah, but I want you to take it offline.
So take it offline, so you can take I can take everything offline. Sufficient access level. I gotta go through here first, that's right.
It could have been taped in a different position.
Yeah, that's a. Next level 1. Change access and enter. What's the name button on here? Now change it.
What's the next step?
This is change access and enter.
Yep, you did that already.
Oh, alright. F1 login. Enter. Passcode 333.
Says access granted.
Yeah. So then that's when I go over here. Alright. Take everything off.
Quickly press that.
That's right.
Yep.
Okay. City disconnect trouble point. So it's not beeping.
That's correct. You got it before it started beeping.
Oh, okay.
That was the goal.
Okay. Cool. So now, just system reset?
You can. You don't have to.
Yeah, because I don't want to
But
just.
that's how you take it offline. Now, if you were in a fire alarm condition, the first thing you would do is you'd come down here and you would hit alarm acknowledge, you would read whatever it is,
Alright.
and you would report to where you need to verify whether or not it's a false alarm at that point.
Yeah.
So it's good. Sometimes they're good, depends on how they program them in. I haven't seen this one in action to be able to tell you, but my one that at the Radisson, I had the same system, was very detailed. It would tell you 6th floor,
Right.
north end near service elevators. It would actually,
Nice.
6th floor, and it would describe it out to you. There was a handful of heads that were kind of difficult to find, but
This,
when you're looking for the heads, so if you're to go out here and look for the heads,
This final, the fire panel,
yeah,
not just the heads,